everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Zanele Madonna, and I am a chartered accountant, and all I do is to empower aspiring chartered accountant. So if you're watching now, you are watching the Journey to CA series. And today I have a very, very interesting guest. I know for sure you're going to love my guest. You're going to be inspired by my guest. My guest is Mrs. Rochelle Murugan. I'll just hand it over to her so that she tells you who she is and where she's from, and basically how she became a CH. Just a brief background, Rochelle. Who are
Absolutely.
you? Who are you from? And how has your journey to CA been like?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Zanele, for your time this morning and taking some time to get to know me and my journey. Very excited to share it with all of you. So, as Zanele mentioned, I am Rochelle Murugan, also a chartered accountant. To tell you a little bit about myself, so I grew up in a little town called Hillary back in Durban. A lot of the time you don't get to choose the family you're born into, but I've been very blessed to be born into such an amazing family. My dad was an ex-accounting teacher by profession, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. He then went on to open his own events management company and is currently running rehabilitation centers for alcoholics and drug addicts, being a victim of alcoholism himself. And I'm proud to say he's sober for the past 30 years, and he's used that experience to actually help kids who are battling with this disease. I think that's where I sort of get that desire to want to do more for people and help people and empower people, because I think there's no greater joy than that. So I schooled in a public school. As I said, my dad was a teacher at that time at a public school, had the option of, going to a private school. And my dad was very against it. He says, you know what, I'm a teacher at a public school offering that education to other kids. So why is that education not good enough for my child? So I went on to a public school, and it was an amazing experience. I think the one thing about that is that it keeps you humble also. Seeing people from different backgrounds and sort of impoverished backgrounds as well, that you get to learn a lot from. And for me, that journey was very special. He always says to me, Rochelle, there's a famous Mark Twain quote that he uses, and he says, "Don't let your formal schooling damage your education." Because, education is something that's so ongoing. I mean, schooling is schooling, but I think life itself is education. Your experiences are education. So that's the kind of environment that I grew up in. To tell you how I became a chartered accountant, it sounds very cliche to say I loved accounting and my dad was an accounting teacher and maybe I had a flair for it. But I was very lucky to be very guided in my career path. And I remember in grade 10 when having to choose my course, I was undecided about, whether I should become a chartered accountant or whether I should become a medical doctor. And, coming from a family that was very academically inclined, I was lucky enough to have CAs in our family and close friends. So my dad would actually take me to have conversations with his friends who were CAs. Um, and to be honest, just listening to them and their experiences and looking at their lifestyles as well, kind of, played an impact in me having made the decision to become a chartered accountant. And I went on to study it, and I studied at UKZN, qualified, got my degree, and you're rolling and you're flying through your academic, doing exceptionally well. And then comes, the lovely CTA exam that just humbles you. It humbles you. If anything, that giant came and it defeated me. And then I went and I tried again at UNISA and I passed the exam. But the reason I would say I passed that exam was my mindset. I had completely changed my mindset around it. I remember studying in Zanele, you were also at Mazars where I currently work. And I can't remember if I've shared the story with you, but I used to actually, in my study area, I was so conscious of what I put around me. So the mirror that was in front of me was covered with like positive affirmations saying, "Congratulations, Rochelle, you did it. Well done, girl. You passed your exam." Or Rochelle Murugan CA. And, at that point in time, your goals change as you go along. in life. And at that time, my goal was to have those 4 letters, next to my name. And I would, every corner that I turned in my room, even if I opened my clothing cupboards, they were like positive affirmations stuck in there. So I was sending it out that, this is it, this is what I want. And, I'm going to get it. And just having that mindset shift and, putting in a lot of hard work, sacrificing a lot of things that you would normally do over your weekends. It does come with long hours. It's not an easy journey. But at the same time, it's a title. A lot of the time people let it define you, but it shouldn't actually define who you are. There's a bigger purpose to what you're doing. And for me, I think I discovered that over the years. And I know I've been speaking a lot about my dad, but my mom was actually a housewife and a woman who instilled such strong values in us. And I think she was always so proud to see my sister and I, living out our dreams and excelling, doing our best to excel in everything that we did. And my mom actually passed away through mental health issues. And I think it's important for me to share it because I think it's quite a current topic, and so many people are going through it. And here at our company, I think what I did that was being in a position as a chartered accountant was being able to empower other women. And I founded a women empowerment program at our firm, and it's been phenomenal. Just to see women being able to use their voices and knowing how much of power it contains, knowing how much of value they bring, just being able to speak up. It's been just amazing to see, and it's been doing so well. We'll be launching it throughout South Africa very soon for our office. And it's just, I think, just being in this position of having this qualification, the opportunities are just endless. You can do whatever you want. And I think it's just, as hard as it gets. And I read a lot of motivational books, and one of them is Simon Sinek, Why. And it's so important to know your why. I went on and I passed, and I decided to do my articles at a firm called Mazars, and I'm still here today. So I went on and I did, my 3 years of articles. And I remember in my first year sitting in induction, and there was a female partner that was, doing this induction program. And I looked at her, and, she was teaching me so much. And I thought to myself, wow, like, I want to be that, I want to do that. I want to be able to teach. I want to be able to give back and, make a difference the way she was making a difference in my life. And, you go through your articles and it's challenging. Hey, like, there's a lot of late nights and a lot of investment. And I remember, my goal was to become a partner, and I was lucky enough to have defined that goal, and it's okay to not, you figure it out as you go along. But I remember knowing what I wanted and why I wanted it more than anything else. And I used to just push on, there's times where you think, what is this for me? Is auditing for me? Can I go on? And you remember, Rochelle, remember why you said you want to do this. It's not just about you. It's about other people and making a difference for them. And I think that's what success means for me. It's not about the fancy clothes or the job title or, having a fancy car. It's about being able to actually make a difference in the lives of people around me. And, I went on through that journey, and I remember, wanting to have conversations with partners. I was in my position as a manager, and I'd go up to them and I'd ask them, what does it take to get to where you are? What do I need to do? And, where are my development areas? Please, can you give me feedback? And I used to thrive on that feedback to make sure that, I was constantly improving myself. And I was lucky enough at, the age of 31 to make a local partner at my firm. And at the age of 32, I made equity partner. So it's an amazing achievement. But again, don't let titles define who you are. Be authentic, be yourself, and know your why and your purpose. And I promise you, every day will be a successful day if you can, just do the littlest thing to add value to somebody's life. So that's my journey in a nutshell.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know so much about you. I really didn't know that. this is quite interesting. For example, I never thought you went to a private school, a public school.
Okay.
I thought you went to a private school. So this is interesting. And I love how your dad just turned around almost everything and actually, developed this center for alcoholics. That is incredible. That is
Yeah.
really incredible. And we can see it now with what you're doing, from what he was doing to what you're doing
Yeah.
now for the women
Yeah.
empowerment in South Africa as a whole. Now it's not even a Gauteng thing. So I
Yeah.
really, really like that. And I just love how, in as much as your mom was a housewife, but she has
Yeah.
instilled a lot in you guys. And through what
Absolutely.
you've seen her go through as well, you are doing something for other women. This is, oh my word. And the other thing that I just want to highlight for the students who are watching, for the trainees that are watching, is that you said that when CTA knocked you down, you change your mindset, of which that is
Yes.
the most important thing, because people
Critical.
forget that CTA is a whole mindset game. Because the moment
Yes.
you do it and you have so much fear, it's like,
Yeah.
it's like it can sense that there's so much fear, and that is why people keep on repeating and repeating
Yes.
and repeating. So that is super, super. And how you had positive affirmations almost every way. Because I was even telling the ITC students that are going to write next week that, they should be even creating, that text that you get for ITC, congratulations, Rochelle, you
Yes.
passed like ITC. I was like,
Yes.
create that for yourself and actually look at it every day. Because if you look
Yes.
at it every day, it will, you'll start feeling like that person who has passed ITC. So I
Absolutely.
really, really, really like that. And the part that you mentioned, but then you didn't say much about, is hard work. I don't want to lie. When I was at Mazars, I saw like you were working so hard, because when I left, you were not yet a partner, you were a manager, and lucky for me, you were also my mentor, and
Yeah.
you were working so hard. And just being a female at the firm, it was such a nice example, just to
Yeah.
see you working so hard and being recognized, because you came in and then you were a manager, and before I left, you were a senior manager, and just after I left, you were a partner. And I was like, oh my gosh, this shows that with hard work and
Yeah.
dedication, it can really work. So I really,
Absolutely.
really, really, really like that. And what you said was that articles are challenging. That's something that you said. So
Yes.
my next question is, now in your position as a partner, there are
Yeah.
so many, students who just left varsity and they are doing articles and they just don't understand why is this process like this.
Yeah.
So what are your top 3 tips for a student who has started articles, who feels like the whole process doesn't look fair? The whole
Yeah.
process is just because it's quite overwhelming. What would you
Yes.
say students should do, especially actually the ones who haven't even started articles, in order
Yeah.
for them to prepare themselves, especially articles at an audit firm? What do you think, maybe the characteristics that they should have, or what should they
Yes.
do so that they can survive in an audit firm?
Yes. 100%. So Zaniele, I think a lot of the time, and I've seen it, and I think being in this position as a leader, it's about creating safe spaces for your teams and your people. And I often say this. If you watch other interviews, you'll also notice me saying this. And I mentioned your why. Okay. And in life, I think it's true. No pain, no gain. You're gonna have to go through that. I had shed tears during my articles. I had challenging times, but the good thing was that I formed relationships with people.
Yes.
I formed relationships not just only with the people that I was working with, but senior people within the organization, people who were a step ahead of me or like 10 steps ahead of me, because I knew that's where I wanted to be and that's who I was going to learn from. And I was very honest. I think it's important that, when you're overwhelmed, when you're not coping, speak up. Go
Yes.
to your partners, make sure that, that's what I think we try to do here, is to create that environment where they can come up to me and say, you know what, Rochelle, I've got my studying, I'm behind on my studying, work has, let's make a plan for you. Let's see who else can maybe step in to help. Let's see what I can maybe take away from you and make it a bit easier. And I think it's about having those open, honest, courageous conversations, Don't be intimidated because somebody has a higher title than you, that you feel like, I can't go and tell them this. That's my manager or that's my partner. At the end of the day, we are all human. We all want to be in a space and an environment where you're happy. And I think when your people are happy, they thrive and they work better and they're more productive. And I think it's about creating that. You know, a lot of the time, everybody talks about have a work-life balance, make sure you have a work. Yes, we all try for it. I try for it, wake up super early in the morning, have some time for myself, my exercise, my fitness, clear my head, try and meditate for a bit. You know, it doesn't go perfectly every single day, but all you can do is try and try and form a structure and see what works for you. And a tip that I can give, and it's helped me and it still continues to help me up until now, is the power of waking up early.
Yes.
Like waking up early to start your day. And I'll recommend a book that I love. I absolutely love this book. And you know what? Books teach you nothing. It only destroys ignorance. It's only when you put into practice what you read, then only do you learn. And it's the Robin Sharma 5 a.m. Club. It says, own your morning, elevate your life. And I promise you, you get going early in the morning, you start your day. Don't just wake up and laze around. Take that morning, own it, and knock out some of your biggest or your menial tasks that you know, knock it out before 9 o'clock. And I promise you, the rest of your day is just so much more productive. You have such good energy. And I think it's about, you know, giving yourself that time. You know, the rest of the world is still asleep. So it's your time, you know, it's quiet, own it, do your thing. And it really helps me. And another thing is also be very conscious of your thoughts.
Yes.
And be very conscious of your environment. And when I say environment, I'm not just talking about, you know, like where you are, where you're sitting, but I'm talking about the people you're with, the conversations you're having, what you're following on social media. Be very mindful of those things, because those things actually contribute to how your day sometimes turns out. You know, you see something negative on social media, you have a conversation with somebody who's constantly complaining, yet there's so much to be, you know, grateful for. The fact that people even have jobs during this time, during, you know, this pandemic, you know, be grateful and treasure it and give it your absolute best. And again, if you're really struggling, just have the conversation. You'll be surprised as to how willing people are to help you, especially like, you know, your managers or your partners. I mean, they've all been through it. We all know that it's a challenging journey. If anybody tells me it's not challenging, I would love to know where you did your articles, because I can tell you now, every CA will tell you this journey is, you know, it's difficult, but it is absolutely worth it. The possibilities are endless with it. So, you know, push on and just toughen up, know who you are. You know, they say, don't let people define you, because they will confine you. And, you know, if you don't know who you are, others will make you what they want you to be. So be very mindful of who you are, what you want, and why you want it.
Oh my word, that was more than three. So many tips, and I'm proper grateful. I know our audience are going to love it, Rochelle. And I love that you said no pain, no gain, because how is it that you would want to say, I want to be a CA, I want to be a leader, yet you don't want to go through any challenges? So I
Yes.
really like that. And I love the fact that you said in articles, always speak up, because in as much as these people can have titles, they are people and they
Yes.
understand what you're going through, because they've went through that as well. So I really like that. And one of the things that you mentioned earlier on is that when you were working your way to partnership, you were receptive to feedback and you defined that goal, right?
Yeah.
So in conclusion, my question is, now that you are an equity partner and you are also a top 35 under 35 finalist for 2020, yay, which I'm so excited about. And you're doing amazing things like your Women Empowerment Program and even beyond that. I know, for example, when I was at Mazars and I was part of your mentor-mentee team, you even invited us to your house. Like, you're always going beyond when it comes to everything that you're doing. So from now on, because you're always defining your next step, you're always receptive to feedback, and you reaching all of these incredible things, what is next? What is next for you? And, how do you see it playing out?
Yeah. So for me, Zanila, I've invested in a life coach now that's been so beneficial to me because there's four pillars basically of your life that that are key. It's your career, your relationships, your health, and your spirituality. So right now, I'm very much focused on my health and my spirituality, and I'm working on those goals. But with the Psycha Top 35, being a finalist for that, my goal, it's not about the winning for me. I think just, being recognized with these 34 other incredible individuals who are doing something different. I want to see, once I meet them and get to interact with them, what can we do together to help aspiring, not just aspiring CAs, but, people who are aspiring professionals and see what we can do for them. And I'd love to obviously, be part of our exco in the next, in the coming years. That's one of my goals as well. And I just, what, for me, it's ongoing making a difference. Like our Women Empowerment Program is going national. We haven't launched it as yet. So I'm so thrilled to see, what's going to come out of that. So those are some of the key things for me, and just to grow as a person.
Thank you for this, Rochelle. I took away a lot from this. Like I took away a lot from this, and I know for sure our audience will definitely love it. Like you gave us a lot just from your background, what you've learned, and what you're currently doing. And I'm sure so many women, so many young women are inspired by you, and not even women, like across all the people are just inspired by you and your journey, your resilience, and continuing to just thrive and invest in yourself. Because other people, maybe they might say, I'm a partner now, I don't need a coach, I don't need anything. But you continuously investing in yourself, and it's nice to see. So on that note, I just want to say thank you. I don't have any further questions. I just think you said a lot, and I'm sure anyone who is watching this also took tons of notes. Like, look at my book, like from this. So thank you very much. And I like what you said when you said, books don't teach you nothing. And, it's only when you start implementing what you read where you actually learn. And I definitely agree. And I liked your golden rule on waking up early, because I also believe that, if you take care of that morning, like you are set for the rest of the day, because everyone else is sleeping. For example, even me now, because I'm in the UK time, it's only about 6, and we almost done with this interview. And yeah, so I really like that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any parting words for our audience?
Yeah, I think you know what, guys, I think just a lot of the time people are so afraid of failure, and eliminate that fear of failure. At the end of the day, if you take the word fear and you break it up, it just stands for false evidence appearing real. So most of the time you're afraid of nothing. And with the failure comes growth. Remember your why, and enjoy the journey, embrace it, look at it with, the only time you do well at something is, when you start loving it. And I think, look forward to that learning experience, enjoy it, make the most of it, and I wish you all the best. So thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Rochelle. If you enjoyed this interview, please give it a thumbs up and remember to subscribe. From my side, bye.
Bye. Bye, Zanile.